you.
Sure, I get the right agenda in front of me.
Yes, we're working on it right now. We got the logos, I think, this morning.
Recording in progress.
Everybody, we're good to go down here.
I thought we would be good to go. Now that recording is in progress,
Yeah.
I think we could officially start. I'm going to officially call this meeting of the Qathet Regional Hospital District to order from March 28th, 2024, and recognize that the meeting is taking place on the traditional territory of the Tla'amin people who have lived here for many thousands of years. The first item of business would be approval of the agenda. Everybody had a chance to look. Moved by Director Gisborne, seconded by Director McCormick. Any changes to the agenda? All those in favor of accepting it as circulated? Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. Brings us to the minutes of January 24th, 2024. Somebody like to move adoption of the minutes? McCormick, seconded by Director Brander. Any errors or omissions in the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting it was circulated? Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. When we get to the correspondence, we have no delegations or inquiries, no unfinished business. And we are at correspondence from Stephen Brown, Deputy Minister of Health RE, approval of name change from Fall River Regional Hospital District to Qathet Regional Hospital District. And I just wanted to comment that it's taken us a long time to get here. I think we started actually working on doing this name change in 2021, and the board went through a public consultation process and have finally got the order in council from the provincial government affecting the name change. And the name change doesn't change history. It doesn't make anything disappear that happened in the past. It doesn't even apologize, but it does give us a different basis to go forward on, gives us a new name and a way to move forward in the future. So I'm extremely happy to see this happening. And does anybody else have any comments? Director Gisborne.
Yeah, just a very simple question. I presume, I don't want to presume without saying anything, that our staff do not need direction to do a press release on this item, or do we need to pass a motion for the staff to do the press release?
I think staff has already done that.
Oh, wonderful.
Resumption.
So they don't need direction. They figured it out on their own, actually a few days ago. So Director McCormick and then Councillor Director Elliott.
Chair, just to say that this is good news. It's been a long time coming. I think it's the right change, so I'm very happy to see it.
Director Elliott.
It's great to see it finally completed and implemented. It puts our hospital district name in sync with our actual hospital's name, so that's good. And I'm wondering, Chair, if you would beg my forgiveness. I have an issue with the agenda that I didn't bring up at the time, and I'm wondering if I can speak to that at some point.
Did you want to add something to the agenda?
I have a question about the bylaw section. It talks about motions to adopt a bylaw, which isn't attached. So I'm just wondering where the actual bylaw is. And so I think it should be on the agenda, but it's not.
Maybe we can talk about that when we get to that section.
Okay, thank you. I was trying to give a heads up. So.
Yes, no, I think we can get that added to the agenda right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Anyone else with any comments on the correspondence? Okay, don't see any, so I don't think we need to do anything further on that. We've got no business arriving from the correspondence. We are at the chair's report. And I just want to report that I actually had a meeting with Vancouver Coastal Health and Michelle Hanna, the director of our local hospital, about putting together a working group between Vancouver Coastal Health and the regional hospital district to work on issues and to have regular meetings, to have a meeting, actually the plan worked on terms of reference that is before us very soon, to have meetings every 2 months to talk about issues between the regional hospital district and the Vancouver Coastal Health, to include possibly the hospital foundation, and where it's necessary and useful, the local practitioners, and get together and discuss those. They would like to meet with the chair of the board, the vice chair of the board, one of our staff members, and the Vancouver Coastal Health would really like to have a First Nations representative on that working committee, because they want to have that direct connection. And I'm thinking that our Klamath director would be a good person to add to those. So the idea will be to get regular communications going between our hospital district and Vancouver Coastal Health on a regular basis. So we'd be meeting every 2 months throughout the year with a preset agenda. That way, when requests come from Vancouver Coastal Health for funding to the board, we would have a heads up, we would know where they were coming, and we could have earlier input on what projects maybe should be on the list and should be coming down the pipeline, and which ones we'd rather see put off till later. So just want to share that with everybody. It's actually positive. We've been trying for a long time to get Vancouver Coastal Health to recognize that. One of the other things that's going to come with that over a period of time is they've expressed that they should be setting up a long-term planning process towards the end of this year for Vancouver Coastal Health in this area.
Yeah, wonderful news. Thank you, Chair. But one of the things I heard you speak to was, having a meeting with the chair and vice chair. And I'm wondering if maybe it would be appropriate in an upcoming meeting to put forward a motion to amend our procedure bylaw to change, from that we, will do the rotating vice chair to the board may do a rotating vice chair, and therefore we can elect a vice chair to serve for a year, because if the vice chair is changing every month and we're meeting every 2 months, I'm not sure if that will be entirely helpful. So I think that in the future we can amend our procedure bylaw to elect the vice chair to then work with the chair for the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Might be something to think about. And I was thinking as I prepared for this meeting that, possibly having a motion about who sits on this working group with Vancouver Coastal Health might be an appropriate thing for the board. And looking at the vice chair participation, I really like the idea of having a vice chair participate, but it is difficult if every time you meet the vice chair is a different person, because there's preparation to do and basically having a history of what the meetings have done before might make sense. So
wonderful. We're thinking on the same wavelength.
Director McCormick.
Thank you, Chair. Following along, because my question really relates to what Director Gisborne raised, rather than have the vice chair, if the hospital district board could appoint somebody the way we appoint directors to serve on different things, might make more sense, because then at least there would be a continuity of that person being there instead of always rotating a vice chair.
Yeah, I think that's something we can take care of. Maybe if at the next committee, the whole meeting, we can bring forth a resolution to kind of put all that stuff together. Anybody else on that? No, so that gets us to the consent agenda. Number of items on there. Is there anything anyone?
That's our dry humor from our chair. That's the dry humor from our chair.
Figure out what my little It's a very short consent agenda. Anybody want to remove 9.1 from the consent agenda? Have a motion to accept the consent agenda? Director Gisborne, seconded by Director Brander. Any discussion? All those in favor of the consent agenda? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Now we get down to the resolutions. The Regional Hospital District 2024 Budget Draft 2. Somebody like to make that motion?
Moved.
The seconder, Director Brander. Any discussion? We've been through this a number of times before, so. Director McCormick.
Thank you, and I'll be pretty quick. I was opposed to this at committee. I am prepared to support it today because I do think putting money aside for the cost share requests that aren't really requests is a smart thing to do. I still believe it's downloading from the province, and in principle that really bothers me, but I am prepared to support this today. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I got an extra copy that I don't need.
All those in favor of Director Gisborne?
Yeah, I supported this at committee and I'm prepared to support it again. And when you first look at, increasing the rate by $20 per 100,000, especially with all the other increases we're having on the regional district side, it's quite a bit. But looking at the historical contribution to the regional hospital district, even after this $20 increase, my understanding was that the contribution per 100,000 actually used to be higher many years ago, and as other things have been paid off, that's kind of come down. So I'm okay with it, unless I'm mistaken from looking over some of the historical stuff. But so I'm comfortable with it, because when it comes to contributions to our services, while regional district contributions have gone up, we shouldn't then reduce our contributions to the hospital district services because solid waste has climbed. So I think I'm happy to support it, unfortunately.
Director Elliott.
I think it's really wise. The hospital district does have a lot of things coming up that we need to build. We need more senior housing. Senior extended care homes. They're going to be doing the big planning process, which will end up implementing things, and to make those changes later on will be a lot more dramatic than if we save a little bit now and can mitigate increases in the future to be more reasonable. I like this plan.
Okay. Don't see any other hands. All those in favor of the motion? Only opposed? Very unanimously. Number 12. 12.1 Regional Hospital District Budget Final. Would you like to make the motion? Director Elliott, seconded by Director McCormick. Any discussion on the final Regional Hospital District 2024 budget? All those in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Very unanimous. Bylaw staff has just distributed that bylaw 138 to everybody.
And it's also published on the web on the agenda now as well.
Make the motion. And then we got 3 separate motions to be done here.
I'll move that the board give first and second reading of RHD 2024 to 2028 Financial Plan Bylaw number 133, 2024.
And the seconder, Director Elliott. Any discussion? Director Gisborne.
Yeah, I find the financial plan bylaw to be very helpful because it very clearly outlines our financial plan over the next 5 years. 2024 to 2028 inclusive. I am a little concerned or frustrated that now I actually get a copy of the bylaw. I would have preferred to have had it a little bit sooner. So right now I'm reading through it while we're getting ready to vote on it. And I just hope that, you know, going forward, we can get a little bit more of a runway to, you know, get our head around it.
I would agree with you on that. Director Lennox.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I have the same problem and I don't have the bylaw in front of me. So, you know, it's a problematic for me to raise my hand one way or the other when I don't actually have the bylaw in front of me. I think I understand, but that's, you know, we're voting on some serious costs here. So, yep. Corporate officer, I see your hand.
I might just suggest hitting refresh.
Will do.
Yeah, I see, Ms. Greena, you have your hand up? Yeah, and you're on mute.
I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to mention too, the bylaw is the same as the financial plan that you'll see on page 11 to 17 in the Regional Hospital District 2024 to budget final report. So starting on page 11 and 12, that is the budget bylaw. It's just a little bit of a different format in the bylaw.
Did Dr. Lennox, did you push refresh and see the document?
Yeah, I got it. Thanks.
And it's, as Ms. Greenan said, it's a restatement of figures that were presented earlier in this agenda and all the other times we went through the draft budget. Director Elliott.
Just maybe before we vote on the motion at hand, if we just did a roundtable to make sure everybody's had a chance to read it and is comfortable moving forward with the vote would be great, just because of the situation.
Anybody uncomfortable with moving forward with the vote? I don't see any hands.
So
So
we, my understanding is the deadline is what, Monday? So if we don't pass it, I'm pretty sure the ministry will be very unhappy with us.
No, I meant like a 1 minute break, not a.
Oh.
People a chance to read.
just ask the corporate officer what Director Gisborne's question is. When do we have to have this done by law?
I thank you. This one has to be done before the end of the month. So today, because we're, you know, I think we're out of time essentially.
So my take on it is we have to have it done by today. And we've seen the numbers before. They just haven't been on the process with bylaw title on the front. If it's okay with everybody, we'll go ahead with the vote. All those in favor of first reading or second reading, first and second reading. And see the hands, I was looking down. Any opposed? Well, that's carried unanimously. First and second reading. So now we're on to Councilor Elliott.
I move that the board give third reading of Regional Hospital District 2024 to 2028 financial plan bylaw number 133, 2024.
Seconder, Director McCormick. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. Motion number 3. Director Elliott.
I move that the board adopt RHD 2024 to 2028 financial plan bylaw number 133, 2024.
Seconder, Director McCormick. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Past new business where we have none. Do the question period. Do we have anybody online who has any questions?
Hello, Chair Galinsky from the Peak here. My question is with regard to the formation of the joint committee with the qathet Regional Hospital Board and Vancouver Coastal Health. You announced that this will be happening soon. We have just seen the passage of a residential tax rate of $20 per $100,000 of assessed value, which will go into a reserve for capital projects with the Vancouver Coastal Health. I'm wondering if you will be discussing the matter of capital expenditures with Vancouver Coastal Health. It seems to me that the manager of financial services has indicated that they come to us with about $1 million a year, and that's a lot of money. I was wondering if this is going to be a topic of discussion with the Vancouver Coastal Health.
The working group that we're forming will be, the intention of that will be to discuss short and long-term planning, with the annual planning that we do now being part of the discussions that happen at that forum, and going through the long-term planning, which hopefully we eventually will be talking about 5 or 10 year future programs to have a good idea about what's coming down in the long run. But really, this is about getting increased and better communications between the two bodies, the Regional Hospital District and Vancouver Coastal Health.
I thank the chair for the answer to my question. I have no supplemental questions.
Thank you. Director Gisborne.
Yeah, I think there might have been a clarification thing. I think the reporter asked or said that we did a $20 per 100,000, but I think just to clarify, it's $20 increase. So I think manager of financial services can probably clarify. I think it's works out to roughly $35 per 100,000 total. Like just the tax rate to make sure that it ends up in the paper right. So
I think that's right, Mr. Galinsky. That was a $20 increase per 100,000.
And I see Linda has her hand.
Greenan, did you want to add something?
Thank you, Chair. You're correct. It is a $20 increase. So $35.16 is the residential tax rate per $100,000. And for Tla'amin, it's a residential tax rate per $100,000 of $27.26.
Perfect.
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that, Chair.
Yes, thank you for your questions. Is that all you had?
Yes, that's the extent of my questions, Chair. Thank you very much.
We had no in-camera session to rise and report from, so we are adjourned with a couple of minutes to spare.
Recording stopped.
You.